Hi folks, this is Chuck with 83 Metalcraft, and today we're going to be teaching you arc welding basics 7018. Boom!
Alright folks, we're going to do something a little different. We're doing an in-camera shot, an in-hood shot. I want you guys to be able to see what I see, because I think it'll make it easier to show you the technique. So we're going to start on this one with the vertical weave. Now remember, with 7018, you got to strike it like a match. So we're going to begin. Now on this one, I just stay put for a minute and I get that puddle built up before I go up. Now that I've got it built up, I'm moving side to side. I don't stay in the middle. I move quickly across the middle. But as you can see, I do stay on the sides for about 2 second count as well. Sometimes between 2 and 3 seconds. Alright, we're going to get another rod and we'll make another pass. Now remember folks, every time you do this, you need to kind of chip your tie-in area. Right at the top of where that weld is, you're going to want to chip it. That way you can have a good tie-in point. Alright, hood coming back down, and then we're going to get busy, striking like a match. As you see, I come right to the bottom of that weld, and I get back side to side, and I get that tied in real nice. Same thing, 2000 count. Now the reason you don't want to really stay in the middle on these welds, you want to stay side to side, because if you stay in the middle, you're going to get a lot of drooping. You're going to get a lot of bellying out on your weld, and that you definitely don't want. That will make for a bad weld. You want them smooth, especially if you have to lay multiple layers on the weld. This makes it easy to lay your layers. Alright folks, and we are about at the end of the rod. We're going to run one more rod. Okay, we're chipping the top of our weld. And hood back down. Striking like a match. Go to the bottom of that weld, and we get back in there and we tie it in. And we quickly get back side to side. Now the same thing with this, you know, rod's at about a 20 to 30 degree angle. I'm pushing it up, but I'm staying, you know, a 1/16 off the puddle with the electrode. Any more than that, you'll long arc, and you'll basically lose signal, and it'll kill the weld. And if you do too much, you're going to smother the weld, in which case your rod will actually stick to the weld, which you don't want either. Alright folks, we are about at the end of this pass, but this is the final rod. Alright folks, we're going to be starting with our first 7018, and this one is my little weave, a flat weave. Now remember folks, you strike it like a match to get it started. And kind of the same thing, you are still using a 2000 count. And as you can see, I'm moving straight up and down. Maybe a little bit of L action like the first one, but I'm doing the same thing. You don't want to move drastically like you would with a wire feed, because you can create gaps right in the middle of this weld pattern. Stick burns a little bit different. As you notice, there's a back puddle, and that's what we call flux. All right, folks. I'm going to run another one so you guys can see that one more time. All right, let's get this struck like a match. Start at the top and go to the bottom. Let your puddle build up. And nice and slow. About a 2,000 count. And remember, don't push your rod into the puddle. You're floating off the puddle about a 1/16 of an inch. Now, if you get any closer than that, you're going to smother it. And then your weld will stop and potentially bad. So, keep your 2,000 count, and you're only moving about 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch. Nice and smooth.
All right, folks, now that we're done running our stick welding, our different types of beads, there's one more thing we have to do that you don't have to do with MIG welding. With 7018 in particular, it leaves a film. It leaves almost like a snake skin. We call it flux. And so you typically have to chip your weld after your weld. So the next step we'll do is we'll chip the weld, and then we will actually closely criticize these welds and look at what the different methodologies were and the desired effect. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and chip the flux off, and just be careful to kind of chip away from you. That way you're not getting any flux and any slag. You can see the pair of pliers that I've got on this plate, which come in handy, because especially stick welding burns really hot. All right, folks, we got the chipping done. I had to edit part of the chipping out because my camera fell over. It's sitting on my table, so we edited out about 15 seconds. But we got the chipping done, got it fairly cleaned up. So now I'm going to grab my camera and do a close-up so that you can see what these welds look like cleaned up. All right. And so now one thing I want you to look at, I've got my scribe here, and you can notice we started over here. Here's where we kind of struggled to get arced going, but once we got going, we were right here. And so this is the clean and finished product of what you're looking at. You can see that we've got about a 1/4 inch weld, and that we were able to, you know, start in the middle and get it dragging back and forth to build up your heat and to build up the puddle. And then we go up, and then we come down, and we come over and do the same thing. And that's all the stick welding is. It's just almost like L's. And I MIG weld very similar. The only difference is with MIG welding, I push so that my gas envelope stays in front. And with stick welding, I pull. All right, I'm going to turn this piece around so that you can see the two other types of welding that we did today. And the next one we did, as you can see, is the vertical weave. We started down here, and we got it built up, and we got it going side to side. As you can see, those layers are only about a 1/16, maybe an 1/8 of an inch apart. So they're very close. And that's all you're doing. You're just kind of doing some V's. You're staying very close. Your stick action isn't very gradual, and you just keep going. Now, you want to stay on the sides for about 2 seconds, because if you were to just go like this, back and forth, you're going to start getting undercut on the tops or on your sides. And then here's an issue, and I want you guys to see this for those of you that are first starting. I haven't arc welded in a while, so that's kind of, you know, my excuse. But right here, I didn't get a full tie-in. Now, generally, in most circumstances, that's not going to be a huge issue. But if you're doing a certification test, that's got to be 100% tie-in. So I should have started a little bit lower, or even overlapped or background a little bit, and then started to get that full tie-in. All right, here's the last one. We did a stringer, and all we did is we dragged it. We just cleaned it up and dragged it and stayed steady, and there's your desired effect. All right, folks. Well, that is my Welding 101 stick welding basics with 7018. That's going to be all for us today. But if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. And, you know, any input, any questions, anything, especially from the guys that are learning or coming out of school. You know, if you've got, you know, questions on different tips and tricks or things you've learned or that you're wanting to learn, even from the more experienced guys, things that they may do different than me, because really there are lots of styles on how to weld, and these are my particular styles. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys liked my video, and we've got some more how-to videos coming in the near future. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You guys have a great day.